Welcome to Homeschoolific, and today we're going to focus on teaching life skills.
As homeschoolers, a lot of times we focus on academics and things like that, and we forget about those crucial points, life skills. And so today we're going to talk to you about what are life skills and why they're so important.
So first we want to talk about what counts as life skills. So I'm going to start off with the major one, cooking. Our kids need to know how to cook. They need to know how to feed themselves when they're in our home and after they leave us. And it's important that they understand the nutrition involved in making their meals.
It is very important, like Lavonda said. I have grown children, remember, and one of my great delights was when my son invited me to his apartment and made me the best meal of biscuits and sausage and gravy. And if you follow us on Instagram, you can find that there, that picture of that there. And it was just delicious. He called me ahead of time because he wanted to make it by himself, make sure he got the recipe right. But he made it at home. It was one of his favorite meals to cook, so he wanted to make it for me and him, and it was great.
That's so sweet.
It was
I love
really
that.
sweet. So you get to big memories with your kids, but also when they live on their own, not everyone can afford to eat out all the time, and it's not very healthy.
It's not. And it also teaches them how to manage their money. Like, I need this amount for groceries, and I need to shop for this, these items,
Yes.
and I needed to have, my vegetables and, my protein and all my starches or whatever the meal that they're trying to make. They understand how balanced it needs to be. Or sometimes it's not balanced at all, and they got rice and beans, and they're just struggling trying to get through.
Rice and bean makes a complex carbohydrate and a complex protein. That's a win. Add a vegetable.
That just reminded me of like humble beginnings. Like, I was trying my best.
You do a lot with beans and rice, guys.
You can. So next, let's talk about sewing. And I got to be honest, I am not really a sewer. I don't really sew. I can fix a button. I can mend something quickly. But I'm not making shirts or skirts or anything like that. It's just very simple. And
Well,
I think
for most of us, that's important.
I think that's what our kids need to know too. Just how to simply mend something.
Yeah, and I agree. I own 2 sewing machines and hardly do any sewing. I did take a couple sewing classes in school. We've done sewing classes with our co-ops for our children. And basically they can learn to do, they have options of doing a whole thing where they learn to make something or just mending. And that was pretty much our, what was important to us.
Yes.
Mending, hand sewing, knowing the basics of a sewing machine. So if they wanted to take that skill further, they could, but they didn't have to. And so, but knowing how to sew in a button.
It is. It's important.
It's important because that's going to happen.
It is. And you don't throw a whole shirt away because you're missing a button.
Or because your favorite blouse got a rip in the seam.
No.
I'm sewing that bad boy back up.
I have an apron that I made in 8th grade that still I use at home right now.
That is so cute.
Well, I used it last weekend to do other things with in the yard.
Show it to me.
But it's reversible, and I hold on to that dear thing. I did it at home at class, and
That's cute.
that's the greatest accomplishment that I have in sewing. Everything else is like this button.
Which is another point. You guys have to remember that life skills build self-confidence in children.
Yes.
So this is not just something that will also help them get along. The more life skills you give them, the more confident they are going to be. We're not going to always be around as parents. And frankly, you shouldn't have to be.
Right. That's the goal. I'm trying to replace myself with my kid. I'm trying to put myself out of a job so that they can keep going.
I don't like that terminology.
Not out of a job, but maybe we get promoted to a higher position or demoted.
I'm promoted. No.
Is it promoted?
Yes, because
Okay.
that's Queen Mother. I have other things to do.
Right.
I must speak at weddings and such things.
That's right.
That's important. So no, I think that's really
Nice. Yeah. A favorite of mine, gardening. And Diana's too.
Yep.
Yes.
I had to learn it later, but I enjoy it. Every kid should know how
Yes,
to garden.
every kid should know how to garden. We need to know where our food comes from. And I remember going through just paperwork with our kids, a little worksheet, I should say. And it talked about the stages of a plant. So from seed to seedling and all these other things until harvesting the fruit from the plant. And it was so cute to see it on paper, right? And then they get out there and actually get to do it. To actually plant the seeds is so important for us that our kids know how to feed themselves. They know where their food comes from, and they know they're getting the best type of food, especially if they grow it themselves.
So you have to remember that most of us start doing a gardening thing in our science classes with our kids. So we take a little seed, we put it in a pot, the kid gets to see the plant grow, says, oh, look at this is how it happens, and then we let it die. So I don't want you to do that. We actually mean gardening.
Yes.
Even if you're in an apartment, whatever, you do a little square foot garden. I mean, like,
Container
make a plant,
gardener.
Container gardener. I want you to get a plant that your child can eat and let them fully let it grow and let them eat from it. So that way they understand the work behind growing food. They appreciate food much more, and you'll get them to eat their vegetables if that's a struggle.
It is. They love it.
They do.
They love it. And things don't taste the same as when you get it from the store. When you're growing it yourself, it's so much sweeter. The vegetables are sweeter. Your kale's not bitter, like all the things. But yeah.
And they take a lot of pride in it. My 6-year-old, oh my gosh, every time we go to the garden, he can't wait to pick something out to harvest.
Yes.
You know, we had to teach him those terminology. This is the harvest, we're harvesting. And he comes out, Mom, can I help you get some chard? I want to get some chard. You know, cook some chard in my eggs. And so, don't eat it with your eggs. Eat kale with your eggs. It tastes much better. He likes it, whatever.
I love that. Number 4, nature walks. A lot of us include that in our school days or weekly, some people, depending on how you schedule your homeschool. But I think it's an important part in getting our kids familiar with God's creation, walking outside and observing creation and finding things that maybe they're trying to figure out where it came from. What did this belong to an animal?
Another thing that if you took our course on homeschoolific.com, if you haven't, go there, check out our courses. You will also, a lot of you that do classical style learning or Charlotte Mason, you know that nature walks are a huge part of your education, because naturalists were the original scientists. So we gained science from observing nature. It's very important. It's the building blocks of science. And so it also promotes curiosity for our children, and also teaches them how to research things and practice discovery.
Yes, I love it. I love seeing our kids kind of draw out what they're seeing and then come back and explain like what it was that they observed animals doing, or the clouds. Sometimes it's clouds. Like, Mommy, I saw a cloud that looked like a truck or something like.
Even talking about the different types of clouds.
Yes.
Like, homeschooling taught me that there were different types of clouds. You know, over here in the West Coast, you know, down south in Midwest, you guys, because of your weather.
Yeah, we learned.
Learn about the.
Yeah.
We don't do that here. And so
they're
all a fluffy cloud. You know, it's either going to rain or it's not. And so we're learning about these clouds. I'm like, oh, that is wispy. Oh, I had no idea there were different types of clouds. We get them like twice a year. I don't know.
Yeah. It's hardly ever.
Yeah, nature study is pretty cool.
Yes.
And, you know, I've done it with my kids all the way from my oldest down to my youngest. And I have to say, it's one of our most memorable times.
Number 5, budgeting. Budgeting is so important. Learning where your money should go and knowing that you're in charge where your money goes. No one else is going to tell you what you should do, and no one should be telling you what you should do with your money is important. Making sure your children learn how to save, making sure they understand what investing is and that they should be investing, and letting them know that, you know, you need money for food and gas and these all, you know, utilities, your housing, all these things. They think they're going to leave our house sometimes and be magically, you know, taken care of in this great big mansion.
Yes, of course.
And it's not going to happen.
And teaching budgeting to kids will look different depending on the age. So, you know, I have all the ages. You guys know this. If you don't know us, get to know us at homeschoolific.com. But
yes,
I have all the ages. And so you take my 7-year-old, the way I teach him is a very just blanket. You know, he wants certain things. He can only buy one toy per month. And he has a savings for his toy he wants to buy. He has a long-term savings, and then he has a giving. And so he has different boxes for those things. And this was pretty much how I started all of ours out. But then you take the older children, where we require that our kids at teenage years, that they actually purchase their own like socks and just different essential things.
Yeah.
They're required to buy them themselves. If I give you an allowance or allow you to make money, then you are required to buy those things for yourself, and then you get more choice. So it teaches them responsibility. They also learn how fast it goes. I mean, you'd be surprised the the reality that the kids start to they start to get it really fast.
They do.
Yeah,
They realize that it's not always worth it to buy whatever shirt or
absolutely. Let
coat.
me tell you, your child will be very quick to spend your money on an item that they will not spend their own money on. I've had this conversation so many times. So you'll spend my money on this, but you won't spend your own.
Yes.
So how badly do you really want it?
Absolutely. We recently got Logan, our youngest, a toy, and as we were sorting through toys to give away, that was one of the things he wanted to put in the giveaway pile. I was asking him, are you sure? Are you sure? And we bought that toy for him.
Wow.
So if he had bought it, I know he'd go, no, I want to keep it.
Yes.
I want to keep it. But no, he was like, no, we can put it in. I'm like, you sure you want to give this away? Yes, I do. So yeah, they just don't value it as much, I've learned, if they don't have to pay for it themselves.
And that's everyone. That's not just children. We all, if we spend a little bit of money on something, we value it more.
Right.
It's just human nature, really.
It is.
And you're just teaching them a little sooner and teaching them that a card is not a magical, money thing.
No, it's not.
But we also can teach them by letting them do budgets with us. So when we do our family budget, you can include your children. My second son used to love telling me that we don't have enough savings. Mom, Dad, you're not doing what you're supposed to do because your savings account is not big enough. Oh, really? Okay, well, come over here. You do the budget for me. You tell me where I should cut it. How about maybe I cut your college classes? You want to do that? No? How about your allowance? You don't want to cut that? Oh, okay. How about
perspective?
How about your dental insurance? So, yeah, it's all about perspective.
Definitely. Number 6, basic survival skills. So if you follow us on Instagram at Homeschoolific, I posted, I think last week, a book of a survival skills book that I personally have been reading through. And yes. I'm sorry. I meant when I say I meant like not my kids. I'm not like, and I said that in the post. I'm not giving this to our little ones saying, read these things. These are all the disasters that can happen.
Yes.
Now survive, I'm reading it, and I always have all types of books coming in about prepping and things like that. And, but I'm also teaching my kids the things that I learn at their level. So we've got my daughter who's middle school age, and she's able to do a lot of the things with us. But even our boys, they help pack things like our bug out bags and understanding what's necessary for them and understanding why water is essential and things that and even emergency plans that we have in place for our family. Those things are important that your children know and understand.
In times like these, especially when you've got fires and earthquakes and all sorts of disasters happening, natural disasters, hurricanes. We recently had 2 hurricanes hit in the same location twice, which is supposed to have never happened in that time span. You just want to be prepared for anything, and not in a scary way.
No.
Example that we have in our car, we always have water. We always have some level of food. We always have basic supplies that you would need if there was an emergency on the side of the road. And just living here in the desert, water is an essential thing for us. It's very important, and I have known many of people to get stranded because their radiator blew or something like that. The tires blow like crazy here. And you're sitting in 117 degrees in a car with no water. People, that is not going to end well for you. That's an easy way to get a stroke. So although when we say survival skills, that can sound scary, that's actually basic. Just to me, it's kind of like just common sense. I mean, not to sound condescending, but it's just saying, hey,
here's how to stay alive.
Yeah.
Here's how to stay alive.
Because somebody wants to die or get like really hurt when you could have just kept some water in the car.
Absolutely.
That's just like, I don't know, kind of a normal thing to me. So and then also things like camping.
Yes, we love our camping experience this last one we did together.
We do a lot
and
together.
It was so we do. We do a lot together. And it was like we had so much fun, and our kids loved it. And we were teaching them survival skills they didn't even know. Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, you don't have to go, this is how you survive, and put the fear of God in your kids like that. But you're teaching them in the things that you do. And so camping is an easy, fun way to teach your kids.
Absolutely. And learning how to cook with alternative resources, not just a stove, but propane.
Exactly. At one point we
used sticks. We did.
I was just gonna
we
say.
did. We used sticks.
We had to use sticks, and then I think the people next to us in the RV felt bad.
We had coal, but we were
gonna buy wood.
Yeah, and we had actually bought some.
We did,
but they saw us picking up sticks, and I guess they thought, we just need some wood. And I'm like, we're like good, but we'll take your wood.
They were so sweet. It was very kind, but yeah, we were using even sticks for our fire at night, and even for it started with the food, didn't it?
It did. We improvised.
We did.
We changed our meal plan last minute. We went with the flow. And it was great.
They need to see that though. Yeah. It was important that they see that, and so.
I think especially in today's time, what it teaches children is that no matter what the situation looks like, you'll survive it. Just keep pushing through. Don't give up.
And it doesn't have to be like a sorrowful, dredging through whatever the situation is. You can do this and still have fun.
I mean, Boy Scouts have been doing this for years, and nobody really thought about it, but it really is survival skills.
It is.
Same thing.
Number 7, chores. Now, let me tell you, I recently came into a situation where someone was not happy that our kids were doing chores.
If you follow us on Instagram, right, you can chime in on that conversation. Please do.
Yeah, but let me tell you, our kids need to know that they're an essential part of our family, that they contribute, that we need them, that we all have our parts and we're moving parts that work together. And they also need to know that they carry a load just like we all do, and that they're important to us. And also that this is going to be work that you have to do when you leave home. So we're establishing a sense of importance as well as work ethic.
I think also too, it also allows a child to have a sense of ownership and to value mom and dad more.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I used to call myself the cleaning fairy, because I think the kids thought that there was some cleaning fairy that came along and just magically picked stuff up, and they kept leaving stuff for her. Like, well, if the cleaning fairy doesn't have a job, And so chores really help that. I've always believed in chores, but I think sometimes when our kids are young, we forget that we need to establish chores until someone brings it to our attention, like, hey, he's 5. You don't have to do everything for him anymore. You can actually give him some chores. And you'd be surprised at what these kids can accomplish once you give them a sense of ownership over it.
Yes, I think we start our kids as soon as they can walk.
At
our house. We start them as soon as they can walk, from the times, and I think it was just cleaning up toys. Once they could move, once they could walk, I'd stop. I wasn't cleaning up any toys. Once everybody was moving, they all cleaned up their toys. And that's kind of where it started from. And then once they were, 2 or 3, they were making beds. And so we just kind of progressed from there. They have their morning chores. But it's important to us that mom isn't worked to the bone, yes. Right? And so, and we all do our part. And daddy even has chores that he chips in on. And so we're a team. And they need to know that team.
That's important.
Yes.
And how that'll look in each house will be different, also depending on the age. Yeah. You don't expect a 5-year-old to do what a 15-year-old can do. Mm-mm. And also, too, sometimes we've had to change our chores for our kids depending on their job situation, sports situation. So where they might have been doing, let's just say they were doing the whole kitchen, maybe we changed the chores because they didn't get home till 9 o'clock at night. Right. So I leave the pots for them, or I would leave the dishwasher for them, or something like that. Things that could wait until they got home. Nice. But they still were required to, carry their weight in the home, because most of us parents work and still go home and do chores.
Absolutely.
So it's not. I know people think that that's like child abuse, but it's actually not. It's actually not. Showing them their resiliency that they have, and that this is what's going to be expected. And my kids to this day, my grown children, they thank me for pushing them, because in their job field, not many people can outwork them.
That's right. Wow.
Yeah, they do a really good job at it. Proud mommy moment. And if you follow us on Instagram, you can see some of my boys at work.
Yes. Okay. And number 8, establishing morning routines and evening routines.
This is last but not least by any means.
No. That's really the only type of routine we have in our house, to be honest.
But it establishes the routine of the day.
It does. It sets the day on the right path. And I know for us, our kids understand they wake up, they do their chores, they get washed up and dressed, and then we start schoolwork. And some of our kids need reminders and they got to be pushed along the way. And then
Absolutely.
We've got one that needs no reminders at all.
Well, pretty much by the time they get to middle school, definitely by high school, they should be able to do this all on their own in their morning and night routines. Yes. Do a reminder if you need to. Like we all, we use our phones in our house. We use our Alexa and we just have it programmed to tell us every night around 8 o'clock to do our nightly wrap up. But ours start at night. So if our nightly routine is not done right, our morning routine is thrown totally off. So it's actually really, really important for us to get that night routine in. Usually that involves me and the whole family. We're working together. But then the morning routine can start off right.
Right.
I have alarms set for the kids. If I have to wake them up and they shut off their alarms, it is not going to be a happy sight. Now, I'm going to sing, and I don't sing well at all. And I'm going to sing through the Alexa, which only makes it much more coarse than it already was.
Right?
Yes.
That's so annoying.
And then I sing John Legend, Good Morning to my kids. So it is a bad situation if they don't wake themselves up.
That's so nice. She sings to wake them up. If I have to our boys, I wake them up because they're 6 and 7, but my 12-year-old, if I've said to set the alarm and that's what's required of you, I'm the door banger. It's not like sometimes it's hey, wake up, and sometimes it's like, it's the police, She was so scared one time. Like, I told you to set them.
And then when they pee on themselves, you wonder why.
Right? At that age. I feel a little. She's a screw for life. Take that out.
She's like, Mommy, why'd you say I peed on myself?
But yeah, so morning and evening routines are very important. It sets the tone of their day.
It really does.
It does. And the first thing I know, we have our devotions and stuff like that. That's a part of the first part of our school day is getting our devotions done. That goes into our school day, and it sets the tone to make sure mommy remembers and the kids remember who we're doing this for, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And also at night, my husband isn't usually included in our morning routine, but in the evening, he's an essential part of our evening routine because he does the dishes and he puts the food away. And sometimes my daughter will help too, but mostly that's him. And so it helps. So, after mommy's cooked, I don't have to worry about anything. I really am not a part of our evening routine.
I am, but like you, my husband is a huge part of it in the fact that he kind of ushers everyone along. Where I like to clean as a lone wolf, and so he'll get everyone moving. I'm all like, just go upstairs, and I'll clean it. And he makes sure that everyone does their part so that it's not too much on me. Living in a big family, even though it's only 5 of us now, but before it was 7 of us, and all males. So the messes got pretty awful, and it was just cruel and unjust for any one person to clean it by themselves. So we've always have done it together. It's just been something that we've done, and we all break it up into little pieces because many hands make light work.
That's right.
And so we do that. And not just the cleaning, we make sure we take care of the dogs, the gardens. If we forgot to do watering in the morning, we make sure the watering gets done that evening.
Yes.
Locking up the house, turning off all the lights that needs to be turned off.
Right.
It's all of that. Putting a load of laundry in the washing machine, setting the timer for that. I mean,
yes,
it's all of that. And then also knowing what's happening for tomorrow. So whatever clothes they need, we may need to iron or whatever needs to be done needs to be picked out the night before so that the morning routine is where it needs to be. We are slow people in the morning, but God said that was okay. I think He said that's okay.
That was somewhere in the Bible.
Somewhere in the, I mean, no, nowhere in the Bible. I'm just like, is that okay, Lord? All right, you just let me know if it's not okay. We'll adjust.
It's just, you heard from him.
I just, we'll adjust it.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
It does.
So thank you.
Go ahead.
So thank you so much for watching our video about life skills. Keep in mind that life skills are fully teachable. You do not have to set up additional time for your child, but it is important that you include them in these life skills.
Absolutely. Like we said, even with our type, we do it and you can do it too. It's literally not, we're not asking anything extra of you, just to include your babies. And I say that babies, but however old they are,
They're still your babies.
in your life. As fast as you may go without them, include them, because soon they'll be doing it without you. So
thank you so much for joining us at Homeschoolific. We have new courses coming out. We have homeschooling on a budget and homeschooling with time management.
So remember to comment down below what life skill that you're teaching your children that we may not have mentioned, and we'll be sure to get down there and reply to your comments. Remember to like this video and share it with someone who would be encouraged.
To help us out a lot.
Yes, we're trying to, do we have a goal? A number?
Yes, we do. We're trying to get to 10,000
Oh, I thought it was 10 million.
Well, that's the ultimate goal. Duh. We need to reach the world, but 10,000 subscribers, and then we're going to do our first giveaway.
Ooh! All right. So thank you. Remember to like and subscribe. See you later.